So, what did I do over the weekend? Well, it was a pretty super weekend. I went out to the cinema. I flew out to the cinema at Mach speed. Yes, I finally got to see James Gunn's Superman movie after years of anticipation and waiting. I've been eagerly waiting to see this movie. When he first announced he was doing it, I was excited. I love James Gunn's work. I've been a big fan of his work from very, very beginning. Like, I really love his work, and he's great when it comes to just writing and characters. Like, he really can get down to the nitty-gritty of a character. And everything leading up to this Superman movie, and he was talking about his inspiration, what he feels are the ideals of the character. I was like, this is what I've been wanting in a Superman movie in so long. And when that first trailer hit, I was sold. I was like, this tonally feels perfect. Now, is the execution of it when it comes to the full movie gonna work on that? Well, it's out. I saw it, and I loved it. I really loved it. I loved what he did with this movie. This gave me that spark and a Superman thing that I've not felt in a very long time. It really feels so close to just the comics and so true to life just to the character and the interpretation. And even to the animated series. Like, it feels as close as it's been live action to the Christopher Reeves version of the character. And I love that. I know people are gonna have their versions of Superman they rock. I know some people like the Man of Steel. I wasn't big on the Zack Snyder's interpretation for that movie. I wasn't a big fan of that. But it's there. But this to me is what I've really wanted. And it was such a fun movie. Like, you would think with a movie that has a lot in terms of the story, like it's balancing a lot in the story because you have Superman, of course, you got Lex Luthor, and you have the Justice Gang in there. Then you have the war conflict that's also going on. So there's a lot of plot points and a lot of characters that are being set up. But in James Gunn fashion, he does it in a way where it doesn't feel overwhelming in a sense. It sounds like a lot, but by the end of the movie, I was able to walk away from it being like, I understood all the points, all the characters got at least enough time to shine in their own right and had enough time where it didn't feel too overwhelming. And obviously just coming off his work from Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, yeah, he's good when it comes to setting up a lot of characters and giving them time to breathe and actually be characters. And just Superman himself, really love the portrayal of Superman. I love the portrayal of Clark Kent. We didn't get to see a lot of Clark Kent in this movie. We got to see a little bit of it, and like the little bits that were there were really good. Like, that's what I've been looking for. And same for Superman and when he's Clark on Kent Farm, like, just so good. I think this movie straddles the line really good of the serious moments and then even like the comedic moments. And for the most part, the comedic moments land pretty good. Now, maybe there's some scenes where it's like, okay, it didn't need to end on a joke, or maybe it didn't need that crack, but it wasn't enough that I was like really bothered by it. Because that is a thing when it comes to superhero movies that sometimes can get a little grating, is it feels like it can't have an earnest moment. It has to always end on a joke or throw one in there. So I appreciate that this movie at least had a good balance of, okay, we're gonna have jokes here and there, but we're gonna actually, when these scenes get serious, we're gonna keep them to actually be serious. And everyone did their thing. The entire cast, I don't think there's a performance where I was really let down from. Like, everyone did their thing. I think just the great direction from James Gunn really helped with that. I liked the writing. The writing was pretty solid. Pacing wise, it does go a little fast, but the parts where it did seem a little fast, like in like the beginning part, it started just to mellow out more towards the middle into the third act. So that was fine. You know, it's good to see a Superman movie where there's color. I haven't seen that suit with color in a while, so it threw me off for a bit. I'm like, man, I haven't seen Superman with bright red in a while, because that Man of Steel was so gray. But it's like, color grading on this, it's fine. Honestly, I don't really have too much to say on it. Like, for what the movie's going for a classic kind of feel, like really like Saturday morning cartoon, and really going for that comic style, I think it having the more kind of bright, saturated look to it did work to its benefit. I know sometimes I can be a stickler when it comes to color grading in movies, but this was one where I was like, you know, I did like it. I know some people have been, I think there has been a talking point recently about the color grade in this movie and all that, but it was fine for me. The cinematography also is pretty good in the movie. I did like that aspect of it. It's a good looking movie. Like, it's shot well. I didn't really notice anything weird in it. Everything is generally in frame well. It's shot wide, so in a lot of the action you can see things, and dynamically it's not confusing in that sense, like some other action movies, or especially some superhero movies. They can always sometimes really mess up on the action, like they cut too much, or they shoot so close you can barely see what's going on. I'm looking at you, Chris Nolan. Look what's even happening on screen. Who's fighting? Is that Batman? Is that Kal-El? I don't know. But no, it was good. Like, there are some really good shots in this movie. And just talking, even music too. The music, really well done. And I have to say this now for the record. John Williams' Superman theme does something to me emotionally. I can't explain. Every time I hear that song, it like, the neurons in my brain go off, and it gets me every time. And there's a scene in this movie where people are chanting, Superman, Superman, and that theme comes on, and just the whole scene, full goosebumps on arms. Just talking about it now is getting me. Like, just talking about this right now in the moment, it is getting to me. Like, that theme has some power to it. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I love John Williams' score. And anytime it would pop up intermittently in the movie, it would get me. I'd get chills. I'd get a little like... So, like, I like the score a lot. And they did a really good job with that. Like, the score is fantastic. And it tonally matched so much in the film and was great in that sense. You know, sound... I don't know if I can review the sound of this movie because I had a bad experience in the theater. And I know this is like a running joke when it comes to these over the weekends that I always get bad movie theater experiences. Like, at this point, we're starting a subcategory inside of these things. In this segment, I'm going to call A.C.E for short, which stands for Asinine Cinema Experiences. So when I saw this movie, I was like, okay, IMAX is sold out, Dolby is sold out. I guess I'll go for a regular screen at like a theater that's kind of close to me. It's a little cheaper. I'll just go there. They have Dolby audio, so I'm like, okay, you know, the screen might not be IMAX, but I'll get Dolby sounds. It'll be good. What I failed to realize is it was playing in two screens, and one of those screens has Dolby, one of them doesn't. So I went into the screen, and it unfortunately was not the Dolby one. So it's like, okay, well, that sucks. It's not Dolby. Hopefully the sound's good. It wasn't. It was so quiet. It was like whisper quiet at points. Like the first like 30, 40 minutes of the film, I could barely hear anything. Like there'd be explosions. There'd be like big booms that like you couldn't feel anything. You couldn't hear it. The scene where like Lois and Superman are talking during the interview, I could barely hear it. You could hear everything else in the room. You could hear chips. You could hear stepping. You could hear breathing, but you could not hear the movie. And someone must have complained because I feel like after that scene, it got a little louder. And in the rest of the movie, it seemed okay. Not great, but okay. And I'm like, okay, sound sucks, but you know, the movie's good. It's keeping me going. And then it's like, hey, cool. That guy's on his cell phone the whole movie. He didn't get off a single time. And he's riding my peripheral view of the screen, so that's cool. Oh, great. There's a kid running through the halls on FaceTime. That's great. Cool. Oh, nice. This person has a bag of chips, and they just keep crinkling the bag in the most pivotal, quiet scenes in the movie. Yeah, you know, this scene with Pa Kent, I'm about to start tearing up. Oh, wait, I can't hear the dialogue because this kid's crumbling it up. I was so annoyed. I was getting heated in there. And then the dude next to me was weird because then, like, the movie's about to start, and, like, Liam Neeson's doing an ad for Naked Gun. He's like, whatever you do, if you do not bring snacks to the theater, you can always get some from the floor. Funny little joke. I was chuckling. And the dude next to me turned his head and said, going off this theater? That's probably true. And no one responded. I didn't even look over at him. I didn't want to acknowledge. I'm like, what did you just say? And this dude was a trip the whole movie. This guy kept coughing loud. He was 2 seats down from me. He fell asleep. This dude fell asleep mid-movie and was snoring. So I'm just watching the movie, and then all of a sudden I hear... At one point, he snored super loud, and I jolted my head, like, Superman speed, like, woo! And I looked in his direction, and, like, he stopped, and I heard him say something. And I don't know if it was an insult towards me or what, but I was like, nah, you ain't gonna ruin this movie by sleeping during it. If you're gonna sleep, go to the back of the theater. Don't be sleeping next to me. And... you know, it was, that dude said some other stuff. I ain't gonna get into it right now. But bottom line is, I can never get a good experience at the theater. It sucks. Maybe one day I'll get a good one. But listen, my theater experience did not detract from the movie. I loved it. It was really good. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. Like, I don't know when the next movie is gonna be, when we're gonna see Superman and some other DC property, but I love like the world they set up here. Like they did their thing. Like, I'm ready for the Lois Lane show. Give me the Jimmy show. Like the fuck that. Give me the Mr. Terrific show. That was my favorite character in this whole movie. Like, that whole Justice gang, loved it. Loved that. We finally got a good Green Lantern rep on the big screen. It took long enough. It wasn't even their own movie. But listen, Nathan Fillion did his thing as Guy Gardner. Did his thing on it. The supporting cast in this movie did their thing. I'm looking forward to all 20 shows that are going to come, and I'll be watching every show. I gave it a 5 on Letterboxd. Highly recommend. If you can see it, go see it in theaters. Make sure you don't see it in a cheap theater, because you're going to get bad sound. You're going to get snoring guys. You're going to get what I had. So don't do that. But absolutely, Superman kicked ass. So that's going to be it from me here. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm John, GWC. And that's what I did over the weekend. See ya.